I'm going to tie up the Pass Lake fly. This is Matt Sment's favorite fly. I call it Matt Sment's fly because ever since I've known him, he's talked about and fished this fly and loves it. It's normally tied on a pretty long hook, so I'm going to use the ML 601, which is a 3x long hook. I'm using a size 14, but it's going to look a little more like a 12 because this long hook is so long. So my hackle is going to be like size 12 hackle and everything. It's going to look like a size 12 even though it's a 14. Me and Tom Davis, we fished with Matt Sment last year. He came down to Idaho and we took him out to a few places. And he fished his fly everywhere and did very well. Me and Tom did very well and with other flies, but he did very well with this fly, and I've been a little intrigued with it ever since. And so I started tying it up last fall and used it quite a bit and did quite well with it. It took a little while to get this tie down the way I like it, but once I figured it out, it was just fine. I'm using golden pheasant hair for the tail, but there's a lot of people who also use things like mallard flank for the tail, which would work great. I'm just using about 5 to 7 strands for that tail. I'm going to tie in some black wire. And the only reason I'm putting this wire in there is because I'm going to use a peacock herl body. And this will seal it all down so it doesn't break apart real easy. Another thing you could do is super glue the body or the thread body before you wrap the peacock herl or put the peacock herl in a dubbing loop, but this is just a little simpler. You're not even going to see this black wire rib dubbing at all. I'm just going to tie in some peacock herl. Bring my thread back up to the front. And just wrap that mess of peacock herl back up to the front. I think one of the reasons Matt Sment loves this fly is because it is a Wisconsin fly. And Matt Sment's home base is in Wisconsin, so this is his home water fly. But it is very effective as well. Now we're wrapping this wire the opposite direction we wrapped in the peacock herl. That way it'll wrap over the strands and hold them into place, so when the teeth of the fish beat this up, it won't come apart. At least not as easy. Secure that wire at the end and then helicopter it off. Usually if you kink the wire a little bit before you helicopter it, it's going to break a little easier. Then we're going to take some brown hen hackle. I've already stripped this one. I tie in from the stem of the hackle. You could tie in from the tip if you wanted. It's just the way I've always done it. I learned without knowing much this way, and I just prefer it now. Sometimes I tie in from the tip, but not with hen hackle. And this is a brown hackle from the Moonlit Henback product. Pretty cheap, and there's good sizes in it usually, so great hackle. You can wrap this as many wraps as you want, or fewer wraps if you want it to be a little more sparse. We're just going to pull it back and kind of trap it back with a few thread wraps onto the edge of it. There we go. Then I'm going to take a material called Hog Wing in the Brooks color. It's great for wet fly wings. You can use it for dry fly wings too, but works great for this purpose. There's people that use calf tail or EP fibers. Whatever you use for wings will work, but I like this hog wing stuff. It's got a little rougher look to it. We're just going to secure it in a little bit, and then I'm going to pull it up tight and get some very sharp nosed scissors. And then I'm just going to pull it tight and snip it off as close to the thread as I can. And then we're going to cover up at the front end there. I've seen some people use red thread instead of black thread. I haven't fished it that way, but I've tied a few up now, and I'm going to try fishing it that way. It looks pretty cool. I think it would do well. Now, because this head's a little big and it's cone shaped, it can come apart sometimes when you're fishing, so I like to put a little bit of super glue just on the thread right here, and then I'll wrap it on. I'm just using the brush on super glue, and that'll just kind of seal it all together so it can't come apart. Nothing sucks more than having a great fly that's working and then it just falls apart, and maybe you don't have another one. And then we're done with this fly. It looks great. I use peacock herl. Some people use black chenille. Semperfly came out with a synthetic peacock herl lately. It works really good. On this one I'd use the 2mm. But if I was going even smaller, I could use the 1mm that they got. It looks a little smaller than peacock herl. It's great. And there you go.